YouTube, what's going on, family? Welcome back to the channel. I go by the name of BostonAlien91, and today we have a video for you. It's a little different than what we normally do, but I did a video not too long ago, like a couple days ago or so, of a video kind of showcasing DMA hardware cheats, my theories behind it, and what I think streamers are actually using to cheat on these first-person shooters and these battle royale games that are coming out. So with that being said, because of that video, someone in my community, actually in our community, not my community, in our community, because let's get this straight, we are all Boston Daily, all right? We've had a few Boston Dailies that were supposed to be here that have passed away, right? This is for all of us, so let's go. This ain't just for me. In our community, he sent me an actually really interesting video that I have never seen before, and a YouTuber by the name of Sparkles, he did the video, so this is his video. I'm going to leave that link in the video, or not the video, but I'm going to leave that link in the description below so you can check that video out for yourself. Also in the description below, I am going to leave my video that I did covering this subject, so you guys can, if you haven't, you can go back and see the different pieces of information for both videos. This video is for educational purposes only. So with that being said, I hope you guys sit back, relax. It's sure to be a banger. It is 20 minutes, so be sure to sit back and relax. Let's go.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a video that's taken me quite a while to make, but I believe it's definitely worth it. Introducing a hardware cheat for CSGO. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, what the hell is a hardware cheat? I've only heard of those cheats that you download, double-click the exe, gives you wallhack, gives you aimbot. This is something entirely different. So let me tell you the story about how I got my hands on it. So I was emailed by a viewer, and they linked me to this video. After watching this video, it kind of blew my mind a little bit. I was completely fascinated at how this could work. So the first thing I did was set about contacting the creator of this thing. After our initial conversations, he unfortunately told me it wasn't really fully complete, and I was determined to see this thing complete so I could showcase it all to you guys. You may notice I've been going pretty hard on the cheating scene recently in CSGO. That's because I believe the best method to rid our beloved game of cheaters is to expose all the practices they're using and how they do it, because then you can actually start to combat that and take measures to defeat that.
I think we got a cheater, man! Take your damn computer!
So I convinced him I'd pay for the device, and I would pay for all of his time working on the cheat for me. He continued working for it for a little while and teased me with a few previews of it. Until he finally hit a stage where he was comfortable to send it to me. After picking it up from an undisclosed location that wasn't my home address, he sent me a PDF of instructions on how to set it up, and then he also sent me the software that goes with it. But I was super excited to finally get my hands on this thing. Immediately started to try and set it up. I installed the PCI device into the PC.
Running full system diagnostics. Machine status fully operational. System online.
I tried to follow his instructions on plugging all the really delicate, correct wires into all the correct slots on both of the mini boards.
All stations are now enabled. Target dog resistance.
Then I plugged the controller into the laptop and the fake mouse device into the PC that I wanted to cheat on. Obviously, despite having a degree in computer science, I had done something completely wrong, so it didn't work and I had to keep bothering him constantly. I even had multiple problems actually loading the software up in the first place. I literally had hardware problems and I had software problems, a bunch of them each. But after installing half of Microsoft libraries, to trying to properly analyze the problems and realizing I'd put one of the wires into the wrong pin slot on the device, I had a eureka moment. And finally, I was using an undetectable hardware cheat, possible for use in leagues, never running any kind of software on the target PC, the one you're actually cheating on, making it incredibly hard to detect, almost impossible. So what did I do? I hopped in some matchmaking to test it out. So I'm currently on my spare PC, ignore the really messy background, and I'm just testing some config settings. I've got a local server up, I've got some bots in it, it's just shooting for me. Entirely for me. If I manage to go over ahead with my crosshair, it will shoot. And I've also enabled the aimbot to the mouse 3 button, so if I hold the mouse 3 and go near someone, it'll just lock onto them like that. So you can see the whole setup from my perspective. Enjoy the view from my phone. I have the little device right here, one plugged into the laptop, which is obviously processing everything, and then one plugged into my target PC down here. And this is what the little config setup on my laptop looks like. There's a CMD window, which is constantly processing everything, and then there are a whole bunch of options to change. This is by far not the final version, this is like an alpha version. I'm told there's a version that he's working on right now that includes everything he showed me in the previews, sound DSP, radar hack, all of those really, really crazy features that I would never think in a million years that you could get out of a piece of hardware. So let's move my mouse over this guy's head and not click, and there we go, clicks for me. It's not going to be currently up to the level of a software cheat, but it doesn't have to be because it's completely undetectable. So let's jump into some official matchmaking, join all the other cheaters in the cheater's paradise. I'm going to have to restart in trusted mode. It won't even matter about the trusted mode thing because this is all purely hardware. You cannot detect me, CSGO. And here goes the first game of CSGO in my entire life where I will be cheating. That is a very strange thing to be saying. Didn't click once. That was all the aimbot. I didn't click. It literally just no-scope that guy for me. I'm happy we're losing though. I wonder if it ignores smokes or not, whether it takes that into account in the visibility check. Well, it looks like it's just me and you on the server, my friend, and now you are gone. I have an entire bot army to myself and nobody to suspect me. I want to test my theory, so hands off the mouse, push through the doors. Oh, come on. Okay, you have to actually move your mouse in order for it to shoot. Go on, aimbot. Wasn't me. I didn't click. 68 and 3. I do still have it set for the chest. I should probably change that. I've toggled the settings up a little bit, but with the deagle, it's just going to be spamming down mid. It's definitely locking on, but the deagle accuracy, it's not the best. Well, that was my first official trial run of the cheat. It was never going to be the best or most smooth process. There's a hell of a lot of tweaking still to do with it, but for all of those kills, I literally didn't click my mouse at all. I just let the trigger bot do it, and I didn't really even aim either. I just let the bot do it for me. But someone who is already at quite a decent level and just has this thing on really low settings, so it's just a tiny bit of adjustment each time, would really make a hell of a difference. And even if they're in leagues, etc., they can still get away with it, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Let's get out of test mode. He also showed me the potentials of this system and how much further this could really be taken, and showed me a picture of a radar hack and even making a video of some sound ESP testing. Had loads of other features like trigger bot, no recoil, but for this video I didn't just want to give my amateur newbie opinion on this, so I hopped into a call with the actual creator to ask him some really key questions about it.
Hey man,
Hey man, yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
fine, I'm doing fine. Can you hear me right?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. What made you actually create this device in the first place? Like, was there any inspiration
Yeah,
behind
so
the
there's
thought process?
so the main inspiration is that there's kind of a lot of these cheats, or like relatively a lot, hardware cheats on ECA and Facey right now, and not a lot of people know about it. So I thought, yeah, they charge a lot of money, like thousands of dollars for this.
Okay, I was going to ask whether your device was like, one of the first of its kind, but I'm guessing not really.
Yeah. So the aimbot part definitely. So the aimbot part, I haven't seen anything that works like that. I've seen some like proof of concepts, but nothing that actually works. And the videos you find on YouTube are very much almost fake. But the radar and the sound DSP are definitely out there, and they're being used in like semi-pro matches, like ECA main and league.
Crazy, all based on hardware.
They say they can detect some of it, and they do detect some of it. But if you configure it properly, then it's pretty much impossible to detect.
How long did the whole creation process take from initially thinking, hey, I want to make this, to actually having a usable product where you can cheat in CS?
Well, I actually came up with the idea during my finals, my exams. So that's when my brain goes really crazy and gets all the ideas. But I couldn't work on it at that time, obviously. So I think I invested like a lot of time, probably weeks, into thinking how I'm gonna program this and just researching stuff like that. And then the progress of creating it was didn't take that long. I think maybe a week of like maybe 2 weeks, something like that. That was when the video came out. So that was like super development kind of kit.
Briefly, just give like a summary in your own words of how it works, because obviously I know there are videos out there, etc., that you made showing exactly how it works. But if someone didn't have a clue what it was, and you had to kind of break it down into non-techie layman's terms in a brief summary, how would you do it?
In a non-techie way, it's kind of hard because it's pretty like advanced kind of cheat.
Agreed.
But I'll try. So basically, the normal cheat you have is software cheats. They're just programs that run on your computer, and they modify the game's memory, and so they get from the main game's memory the play positions, all stuff like that. But there's also anti-cheats running, like ECA anti-cheat, Face anti-cheat, that try to detect these kind of programs. Right? What my cheat does, and so some cheats like more underground kind of stuff, is they have a little chip that you insert into the motherboard of your PC, and it can read the game memory directly. So it doesn't have to run any programs on the target PC, like on the PC you're playing on. And it can just get the player positions and your view angles, and all you need to make a successful cheat can read that with a little chip without any software. And so what my aimbot is it's a little device that sits between your mouse and your PC. And so the chip that gets all the game information sends all that information over to the device that sits between the mouse and the PC, and it changes your mouse positions based on that. So you might be aiming way off to someone, like maybe way above their head, and then the device that sits between the mouse and the PC will correct that to make it go on the head instead. That's about as brief I can do.
If you broke it out even more, could you say essentially that it was kind of like a device between your mouse and your computer that modified your mouse movements in order to...
Yeah, definitely. Just a device that sits between the mouse and the PC, it modifies your mouse movements, and that's about it.
Yeah. I want to talk about detection, because you say a lot of people are currently using this in pro scenes. Well, not necessarily pro scenes, but more advanced kind of scenes.
I don't know all the names of the ECA leagues, but there's like main and challenger and all those kind of things.
Yep.
Like that's where it's definitely used. Like I've actually had people claiming they are playing in those leagues, and they want to cheat playing those. But the detection is kind of, it's not really known how much they know about it. And I have played with it on ESA and Face It, and they just never detected me.
No
anyone that I
detections,
know
no
of
bans.
no bans, not at all. If you configure it properly, I don't think they can detect it at all. They made like a blog post. I think I sent it to you a few weeks ago. It's a blog post by ESA how they talk about hardware cheats and they can detect it, whatever. But I've heard nothing about anyone being detected.
You think that's more of just a false statement put out there to make people a bit more rest
it's
assured?
kind of it's misleading to say the least. Yeah, because they can detect only for the very default settings, but not if you configure it properly.
How would you go about attempting to detect something like this?
I'm definitely not like an expert in DMA, which is what's used to get all the game information. But basically, the whole point of DMA and then devices being plugged directly into the motherboard and PCIe lanes is that it doesn't need any software to run.
Yeah.
So if you're going to try to detect this, you would have to do it using software. That would slow down your computer very much, and I don't think it's possible.
In terms of the detection process, it's more like detecting the fact that a piece of hardware is reading the CSGO
so
information
the
and not
reading of
the mouse
basically
is
what they
being
do right now is check for the devices connected to your PC, and if the device is the screamer, which is the name of the chip, then they just ban it because nobody uses that for legitimate purposes as well, playing on ECA.
Is there some kind of hardware spoof thing that you can do?
Yeah, so what I've done with your device and what most of the people do is they change the IDs of the device so that it shows up as like a graphics card or maybe an Ethernet adapter, and then it's pretty much impossible to detect.
Do you think that we will ever reach a stage where devices like this can be detected accurately?
Cheating is really a cat and mouse game. I think maybe sometime they will be able to detect my device, but by that time someone else will have invented something else that's even less detectable.
It does seem
it's also
the cheaters are always one step ahead, to be honest.
Yeah, and definitely because this device, there's a lot of people using it in Sniper, as in people don't think anyone cheats at that level, but it's not enough for ECA and Face It to invest a lot of money into detecting it, right? Because it's all underground and barely anyone knows about it, so why would they invest so much money into trying to detect this when they can just keep going to detect only the software cheats?
Do you think devices like this are a huge threat to leagues and online tournaments and things like that? Do you think they have the potential to change that whole scene?
In leagues, definitely. It's not possible to do this kind of cheat at LAN, so it's not a problem there. But for leagues, yeah, definitely, absolutely. But there are like other cheats I can use at LAN, of course, because LANs usually don't have a lot of security. Like they don't run a lot of anti-cheats, just mainly FAC.
Obviously, there's a lot of room for development within the cheat. I mean, you've showed me the sound DSP thing, showed me the radar thing, which is all pretty mind-blowing that you can do that all from reading.
Yeah, from just
everything hardware-wise.
Yeah, there is a lot of room for improvement. I've invested a bit of time on this, but I think someone who would tell these professionally, they would be able to really create something.
They smash it,
yeah. And there's even cheats that use this and do wall hacks, like literal painting on the screen kind of things, like boxes.
How does that work?
Instead of plugging your HDMI cable or whatever directly into your monitor, you put it into a device that sits between the monitor and it kind of like basically draws on top of the screen.
Final question. Could you see something like this being mass-produced?
Part of why people want it is because it's so underground and so barely anyone knows it. But I think my video has like 5,000 views something, so not a lot at all. And I got at least 30 people asking if they could buy it.
Really?
2,000, yeah, 2,000.
You didn't say you were selling it or anything?
No. It's like $2,000 for 30 people. I mean, that's $60,000. That's really a lot of incentive for people to just start a company.
Yeah.
That's like without any advertising. I just posted the video to Reddit and that's all.
There's big money in the cheating scene for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you ever see yourself personally doing that? I mean, technically it wouldn't be illegal, right?
Yeah, it's always kind of this gray area, right? I mean, you don't do anything, like it's not criminal, right? But it's,
exactly. I think in Asia it is criminal, actually. I've seen some police show up at like some Asian people's house and literally take them to jail for making cheats and distributing them. I really see a big future in these kind of things. They're moving from the underground to the mainstream. If they're like unable to be dealt with correctly, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the thing. By me sending the device to you or to other people, there's no extra detection vector. Like I can just, when you get detected or something, it doesn't mean that anybody else who I've sent the device to would get detected. So
why not?
That's because I program all the devices differently. So I've bought one other chip and I've programmed it differently from the one I gave to you.
In what kind of layer is it different?
It identifies as a different device.
Okay.
So yours might be like yeah, exactly. So yours might be a graphics card, and mine might be a Wi-Fi card. So I've had requests for other games as well. So a lot of people moving to Valorant, Valorant cheats. I think one of the new COD WARZONE. I think a lot of people asked. Just in every game kind of. And when there's money involved, it only goes bigger.
Crazy world we live in. Hardware cheats. Never thought I'd see the day. Thank you very much for the interview. It was really insightful and educating.
Sure. Well,
have a great day.
All right. Have a great day. Bye bye.
I also asked well-known cheaters about their experience with these kind of hardware cheats. I mean, these guys know everything about the cheating scene.
Heard of any hardware cheats? Hardware cheats. Oh, you mean like cheating for ESEA and stuff, where they like install hardware that actually yeah, I don't know anything about those ESEA cheats that claim to be installed in PCI Express slot or anything like that. I don't know anything about those. I have heard that they're real. I don't know how much they cost. I don't know anything about those. Sorry, man. You have your hands on one. Oh shit, that's interesting. I'm gonna subscribe to start this.
You heard him. If you're not subscribed, hit that sub button. And they didn't really have any answers for me. It's really not a big thing whatsoever, and it doesn't seem like it's known about whatsoever. I certainly didn't know about this until I watched the video and actually got my hands on it and started playing with it to see how it would work. I even found this hardware aimbot that uses an HDMI capture card for image detection in order to cheat. A lot of existing Siege gameplay was run frame by frame through the model and analyzed so that things like enemies can be detected, highlighted, and automatically aimed at. This video has relatively few views. It's quite underground, but it shows the cheaters are really pushing the boundaries of technology in clever and creative ways ways that are bypassing existing anti-cheat systems. So I feel like something like this really needs to be publicly exposed, so the whole gaming world can start preparing to actually be able to do something about these devices and actually be able to detect these devices accurately. Because this honestly has the potential to ruin a lot of the online professional scene. In conclusion, I really think these are going to become more and more popular, perhaps even mass-produced and sold by somebody. However, I really don't think it will be an easy task to shut them down, because as you could hear in the interview, the detection process is near impossible according to the creator. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. It really took me a long ass time to set up and create. If you did, please make sure to slap a like on it. I would really appreciate it. Help spread this news around a little bit, and I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Take it easy. Peace.